Hey guys, Incendavery here. It's been a little while since I've done a video last, so I thought I would film myself making a comic. I haven't scripted this comic or anything, so whatever I draw is gonna be as much a surprise to you as it is to me. So let's get started. I used to have a lot of variation in how many panels my comics would be, but ever since I started posting on Instagram, I sort of keep them to just like 4 panels only because anything else is a real pain to try and fit into the post. So I'm gonna do 4 panels like I've usually do. Yeah, I used to do sometimes like 2 panels or 6 panels, but like when you do that and then you want to post it on Instagram, you sort of need to like, I don't know, post it panel by panel. You can do that, but like, maybe I'm just really lazy, but I don't like having to do all the work to like make a new file for each individual panel. I have like a scrap of paper I keep in my sketchbook. I keep like lines along the side that tell me where the panels go so that I can do them quickly and easily. And then after I'm done, I just put this paper back underneath the page I'm working on because the markers tend to bleed through and I don't want them bleeding all the way through onto the next page. And right now I'm using a Col-Erase pencil in the color pink. It's hard to see because it's kind of old and beat up. I really need to make an art store run and get some new ones. This is currently the longest one I have. It's so short I can't even find it here, but my usual one, the purple one, is too short to draw with now. So now that the panels are drawn, we come to the hardest part, which is figuring out what I want to make a comic of. So let's just flip this over quickly and start some sketches of stuff I could do. If I really can't think of anything, first thing I usually do is I'll just retrace the old marker stains from the back of the page, just to sort of warm up my wrist and get used to drawing the Corvid shape again for the day. That one's saying a naughty word. Sometimes if I just draw 4 panels, the comic will magically appear, but I think because I'm filming this one, I've got a little, it's like people are watching over my shoulder. I'm not quite sure what to do. It's Corvids. Just draw some Corvids until I think of something. What are some things that have been bothering me lately? Always anxious over things. Ooh, that's something, is I recently had to refill my medication. I had to refill my anxiety medication because I just moved from, well, just about 6 months ago I moved from California to Massachusetts, and I hadn't transferred my prescription yet, so I needed to make a bunch of phone calls. And it always strikes me whenever I'm making phone calls about my medication, how anxiety-inducing it is to try and get anxiety medication. So maybe I'll make a comic about that. Let's just start writing down some lines. I don't even know if you guys can see this from here. Oh man, it's been out of focus this whole time. I'm so sorry. I know this is pretty faint. Maybe I'll, maybe for now I'll switch to like this purple ballpoint so that you guys can... Yeah, I think you guys will be able to see that a bit better. Alright. How do you spell prescription? I can't check it on my phone, so I hope this is right. Alright, so that looks good. Alright, it's super messy, but you can see we've got our rough draft right there. So now we're just going to do that bigger and better on this side. Yeah, sorry the lighting is so weird. I'm trying to like catch the last bit of light before the sun goes down, and unfortunately I've got no real control over the shadows.
Ooh, it's getting nice in here.
Yeah, I turned on the heater.
Oh yeah, why wouldn't we?
I'm making a video. It's about how anxiety-inducing it is to try and refill your anxiety meds.
Appropriate.
I'm conveniently leaving out all the parts where you had to make calls for me.
Yeah, I thought you might.
And why did you think that? What if I gave you credit? Like I never do.
Yeah. Sort of a self-answering question, isn't it?
Well, if I ever edit this video, which I might not, you'll get credit there. Alright, so it's getting harder to see because of the shadows, but there is the finished rough sketch. And now I am going to line it using this purple jelly roll in 08. And I like these ones because I can put down the lines, and once they're dry, the alcohol markers won't smudge them around or anything. Don't have to worry about that. And the purple lines are just because I like them. I almost never outline anything in black because I feel like it looks too harsh. So often I'll use a different color, and most often that color is purple.
I cut off a priest's hands.
Oh, so you did. What are you planning on using this handless priest for?
Not sure yet. I'm gonna replace his hands with, like, lobster claws or something.
How Jim Sterling-esque.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's called Stir Baby.
I doubt so strongly that it is. The thing with gel pens is you gotta, like, not press down too hard if you want the ink to flow nicely. Which is a struggle for me because I tend to be heavy-handed at almost everything. Like, when I brush my teeth, after a couple weeks, the bristles start falling out of my toothbrush because I scrub so hard. There's no real satisfying conclusion to that story. It's just a fun fact. Right, so now everything's in shadow. I need to get some sort of, like, nice lamp or something so that you can see what I'm doing. I feel like that's the catch-22 of making these kinds of videos, is like, I try making them and then I get really frustrated because, like, there's shadows everywhere because I don't have nice lights, and the voice quality is all crappy and scratchy and inaudible because I don't have, like, a nice microphone or anything. So it's like this thing of, like, well, if I had nicer equipment, I would, you know, like making videos better, but I don't invest in nice equipment because I don't make enough videos to justify it. Ain't that just the way? Now that I've loosened up a bit and I'm not pressing down as hard, the ink is starting to flow nicer. Put ample sweat drops so that they know how anxious I am. By they, I mean you, the reader, viewer, supervisor. The light is fading so quickly and I'm not done yet. It's one of the most difficult things about winter. I like all the other parts, but just having so little light in the day to do things. I can't do, like, it's hard to take photos or videos after the sun's gone down, so, like, can't make anything for social media unless it's being scanned on a paper. Can't go out running. Like, even for things that don't, like, directly require the light, I feel like once the light is gone, my energy and motivation just plummet. So it's like, you ever played one of those dating sims where you get, like, only a certain amount of actions you can take every day? Kind of feels like that. There's only so many things I can do before the light fades away completely, and my energy with it. Oops, almost forgot the eye. Plenty of sweat drops. I always sign my name at the bottom during the inking phase rather than at the end, because I forget otherwise. Alright, there's my, it's my comic all nice and light. And I don't worry too much about the Col-Erase pencils being unerased because it tends to blend in nicely with the marker, and I don't, you know, it's not that conspicuous, but over the text, it tends to get a little confusing and messy, so I do make sure to erase it over the text, and then I'll just, like, lightly go over the figure to try and get rid of some of the extra lines, but if it's not perfectly erased, that's fine. Especially because, like, I feel like more than anything else, erasing is tough on my wrists, so I try to minimize that as much as possible. Next, we're going to color in the crow's body. And for this, I'm going to use my favorite very special marker, which is, focus please, there we go, a Copic sketch in VO4 Lilac, very fancy. And that's what I'm going to use for the bird's body. I don't have a lot of Copics, and by a lot I mean I have basically none. I have one that was gifted to me a long time ago because my friend found it on the floor of a classroom and had no need for a dark red Copic, so I started using it on the bird's eyes. But after I moved, there was sort of a combination of, well, one, I'd already been considering getting a purple Copic for the bird's body because if you're not very familiar with alcohol markers, Copics are way more expensive than most of the other ones, but they come with the advantage that over the long run, because they're refillable. After you've got the after you've bought the marker itself, you can buy these bottles of ink to refill the ink inside, and that if you're refilling the marker again and again and again, that eventually becomes less expensive than buying the marker over and over and over again, because most markers are not refillable. So I'd already been considering buying a purple marker because I was going through purple markers like nobody's business. I think I've probably burned out literally dozens of different purple markers over the run of this comic, so I was already considering, for financial reasons, investing in one purple Copic, but then that was sort of that process catalyzed. The process was, that decision was sped up by the fact that I moved art shops, and the new, well, when I moved I changed art shops, and the new art shop did not have any purples in the other brands they sold that matched the bird, so I had no other option than to either change the bird's color or get a Copic. So you can see which one I did. It's very nice. I'd really like more, especially in the colors I use more often, but also, like, they don't make that big of a difference for me that I can, like, that I'm gonna run out and replace my whole collection with them, you know? So it's more of a thing of, like, they're really nice to have if there's one, like a marker you're using literally every day and burning out constantly, but, you know, if you're not, then probably shouldn't bother. There we go. And for coloring, I'll turn the pages all around to get a better angle. It's like rotating a canvas in Photoshop, except you're just rotating your sketchbook with your hands. Didn't used to be that into brush tips, because like I mentioned before, I tend to press down really hard, and to get variation from a brush tip, you need a really light hand, but I'm starting to appreciate the fact that you can sort of use the tip to get fine lines and use the side of it to get really broad lines, so you don't need to switch back and forth all the time like you would with a bullet nib and a chisel nib, but I do still think I like bullet nibs better when it comes to making fine lines. I haven't warmed up to brush nibs completely. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I feel like most people really like brush tips. Alright, now we need the rest of the colors. Coloring in the phone pink because my phone is pink. Because I'm gay. I feel like this marker is already running out of ink. It's not juicy enough. I need my markers to be juicy.
Oh my god, it's so juicy.
Oh my god, it's so juicy. Except it isn't, that's the problem.
Alright, keep it barging.
Yeah, what the hell, I'm on air. Here we go. There's another denim blue. That other one was running out of ink. It's fine if you go outside the lines. No one's gonna look too closely, nothing matters, and everyone dies. So go fast and color outside the lines. I think I'm gonna get fancy and do a gradient on this last panel. So I'll put down the lighter color first. Color in the parts that won't be blended first. Maybe outline this bit. since when we blend the gradient, the ink's gonna spread out a bit. We don't want it bleeding too far into the character. I'm just gonna give it a little of this, the darker color. Where the hell is the sun going?
What are you talking about? It's December.
I'm not done! Then we're just gonna blend it back out with the lighter color. Go down to pick up a bit of ink and bring it back up, so that our Corvid can be sitting at the bottom of a funk. There we go. Looks good. And then we'll just come in with a white gel pen. This one is my favorite. It is the Uniball Signo gel pen in white with a broad tip. That will go over the marker real nice and opaque. Give it a couple scribbles to get it flowing. So we'll use that to correct a couple of the smudges that went over into the dialogue boxes. And then we'll also use it inside the little sweat drops to make those a little more visible. And just like I mentioned with the gel pen for the outlines, having a light touch is sort of the key to keeping the ink flow nice. If it's not coming out, just swoosh it around a little bit. And this is kind of dark, so we can also go over the little sound effect there to make that show up on the dark background. Man, it's really fighting me today. A little red hang-up button. And we're done. There is our finished comic that we've made from scratch. Thank you so much for joining me during this comic writing adventure. And if you liked this video, let me know and I'll try to do more of them. Or if there's a different kind of video you'd like to see, let me know that too, and I'll try to do something like that. And until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!